see that you can see me,
Okay.
and I will see you.
Perfect, Anna.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I am Anna Margolina, or Dr. Anna Margolina, if you wish. And today we are talking about a very controversial topic, right? Past life. And I know there are people who will not touch it with a long pole. I'm not doing it. And probably everybody who does it differently. So we will have a time in the end when we all will talk about it and share how we do it. But my approach may be a little bit different from others. We'll see. So the big question is, if you imagine that you are something physical and something non-physical, light, breath, thought, consciousness. And while you have it, you are uplifted, you are moving through life, and then at the end, of course, you lose this immaterial part, and what's next? Is it possible that the same part then goes into another body and goes through life and then eventually leaves and then goes to another body and so on and so on? To me, more interesting question is this. As we have our experience of being alive and being filled with this light and breath and feelings and thoughts and ideas, then what's really holding this energy in our physical body? How come that we can exist for such a long time before we lose it? So I grew up in the Soviet Union. In case you are curious, what is this accent? And we had this mandatory belief system which called the dialectical materialism, which means that even though we definitely have our thoughts and emotions and our consciousness and our feelings, but it's the matter. It's really important. There is a clear divide that we are kind of like a puppet. Hello, everybody. Hello, I'm Prince Rama from Thailand. So that this part is separate. Completely separate. They are two different things. Matter is what matters. Matter creates matter. Matter changes constantly, and it connects to other matters. And until I moved to America, let me start the timer so I could see how I'm doing on time. I tend to talk too much. So until I moved to the United States of America and became interested in hypnosis, I wholeheartedly embraced this materialistic concept. To my defense, My parents were scientists, all my friends were scientists, and I was a scientist. I have a master's degree in medical biophysics and a PhD. But guess what? This medical biophysics, what is it? Who knows? Who knows what is medical biophysics? Is the study of energy in living bodies. So we knew that inside our body, inside every cell, we have energy. We have this light. And that it's important for us to have this light to think, to breathe, to digest our food. We knew that this light moves through our cells, moves through every neuron in our brain. That was known, but somehow science kept dividing it. This is not the same. This energy is different energy. Consciousness is not really energy, it's something else. So when I came to America, my own sublime essence, this immaterial part, my mind, my emotions, and maybe even my spirit, was giving me a lot of trouble. Because all of a sudden, I started speaking like a 5-year-old. Because my English was so rudimentary. And even though I was highly educated, very intelligent, but I could not express myself. I could not express this intelligence. It was driving me mad. In addition, I used to stutter really badly. Now I stutter really well. I used to not being able to talk to people. I could only talk to dogs. Dogs are wonderful people because they never interrupt and they don't judge. Well, cats, it's a different story. But lesson number one, even though we do have this body, and you can check that we all have this physical body, it's very material, and you can touch your table and confirm that you live in this material reality, it is real. But our immaterial, sublime matter, there's something that we don't really know what it is. This can torment us to such a degree that nothing material even matters. You can have everything, but if your sublime essence is in pain, you need help. And this is why our clients come to us, because this sublime essence, the consciousness, the spirit, perhaps, is in pain. So I decided to try hypnosis. Mostly because I already had psychotherapy. And I know some people enjoy it, but I found it extremely slow and for some reason very frustrating. So I thought, no, I'm not going there. I will try hypnosis. And do you remember the first time when you were hypnotized? It's just like this first kiss that you will never forget. It's just like falling in love. I loved it. I love the feeling, I love the process, and most importantly, I love the result. Because now I had confidence, I immersed myself in studies of English, my speech started flowing with more ease, and I thought, I will become a hypnotherapist. And I started taking classes, probably more than I needed. And there was one problem. I could not start. I could not start my business. I kept procrastinating and finding excuses. Something was holding me back. Have you ever had this feeling? Know what to do, but something is holding you back. So I thought, hypnosis. I will do it again. And I went to see Mary Lee LaBey. Who knows her? Now, if you know her, you know what happened next. She took me to a past life. I was a witch, living in a small cottage in the forest, and townsfolk would come to me with their different problems. They would pay me, and I would go to town, buy food and supplies. It was a good life. But then, one year, we had a terrible winter, and the snow was so deep. My little cottage was completely cut off. I could not go to town. By this time, I was quite old and sick. And none of them thought about checking on me. Ungrateful. And as I was dying cold and hungry, I cursed the entire town, and none of them had any luck for the rest of their life. When I came back to myself, I thought, I made it all up. Surely it's not real. But interestingly, my fear was gone, and I opened my business. Lesson number 2, you do not have to believe in it. Your clients do not have to believe in it. If you do it right, it works. So I started my business, but I thought, I'm not doing any past life because it's witchcraft. And then my client turned into a wolf. Well, not actually. Her physical body was still in her human form, but her sublime essence, her mind, and perhaps her spirit was going through a gripping experience of being hunted down and then dying trying to chew her way through a wolf trap. And guess what? She came to me because she kept grinding her teeth at night. She had too much tension in her jaw. And I had goosebumps. I thought, is it possible that while her human consciousness is asleep, her wolf consciousness, deeply buried in her unconscious, still keeps trying to chew through this wolf trap? Oh, how I wished that I had skills, training, that I could guide my client just as effortlessly and elegantly as Mary Lee was guiding me. But I did not have the training. Lesson number 3. It's not enough to regress them. It's not enough to, hey, I see the connection, that's why they have the problem. It's not enough even for them to understand it. You need to have a process. And what can I say? There is nothing like a spectacular failure to motivate you and to make you really curious, because I became curious. How does it work? And since then, I experienced dozens of different lives. I guided many clients, and some of them go as far as to call me a witch. I was, after all, in my past life. So the big question, let's all address the elephant. There's the elephant in this room. Hello, elephant. Is it real? Or is it just a story? Who thinks that is real? And who thinks it's a story?
What was on the fence? Not sure.
Well, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. It's real and it's a story. Right now, you are sitting in your chairs and you're looking at me and you are having this wonderful experience of being alive in the now, in your present now. Today in the morning, when you brushing your teeth and you putting your pants on and getting ready, you also had your experience of being alive in the present then. This was then, this is now. Tomorrow, you are going to think back about this moment right now, today, as you're sitting in your chairs and looking at me in your present now, then. And it's all a story. Our mind makes it up. It has to do it because otherwise it would take you the whole morning to remember a morning. And you would not be here in a chair, you would be in the morning back then. So as you're sitting in a chair thinking about the morning, you have to make up a story. But we have a level on which it's real and very physical. And this is our physical body. This is neurology. This is chemistry in our body. And this was a big shock. Right here I have this book. Wonderful scientist, Candace Pert, discovered something that for many scientists they still are fighting it. They still refuse to believe it, even though it's science. She discovered that every time you have an experience, every time you have a feeling, the feeling becomes chemistry. And this chemistry is not only touching your neurology, it's interacting with every cell in your body. Your heart, your gut, your skin, everything, your immune system. On every cell, there are structures called receptors. And I kind of like sitting like this and doing nothing, and then the peptide or any other chemical comes and connects to it and changes the cell. Even our DNA responds to it. Even the expression of our genes. Now we know that our DNA is not just blueprint which never changes. It's more like a piano. We have the keys, but how we hit the note, if it's loud or quiet, or if we don't play it at all. This is our DNA. So who plays this music? Who is doing it? Who is living our body? Who is moving our consciousness? Who is thinking our thoughts? We really don't know. But the good news that you don't need to know this. You don't need to answer this question. Because when you do it correctly, when you lead them through a process, that whether they are accessing a memory stored somewhere from some distant past, from the past life. Or they're just creating a story based on what is stored in their physical structures, chemically, because this is what our consciousness has to do. It has to translate chemistry into stories. It's just like a puppet again. This is our chemistry, neurology, and this is our story. If I put a different puppet, it's going to be a different story. So my idea, how I understand it, and I will be very curious how you understand it, is if we imagine a person who has a fear of speaking, like I had terrible fear of speaking and people, and they want to be confident. Fear and confidence are very different states, and they're different on every level. They feel differently, they are expressed differently and chemically, physically, physiologically. So you can imagine a cake of our consciousness. And this is a physical cake, fluffing on a cake, and then the smell, the taste, the look of the cake, the colors. So you can also imagine two islands. The island of public speaking, with all the memories and physiology and chemistry and feelings and programming, and the island of confidence floating somewhere in the ocean of the consciousness and the land of the body. But there is no bridge. Or maybe there is a rule, an internal rule or a belief that says you shall not be confident when you speak in front of people. It's forbidden. It's verboten. No, don't do it. So you have to build a bridge and change a rule. But even if you think that, yeah, of course I know how to be confident, I know it's no problem, but you cannot build this bridge for them because everything exists, every level, down to neurology, physiology, chemistry. You cannot change it, no matter what you say to them. They are physiologically unable to do it, but they can build a bridge. They can change the rule inside of every person. There is a magician, and you just have to awaken it. You just have to guide them to the part of them which can say, oh, it's easy. Here's confidence, there's public speaking, it's connected. And it can happen very quickly, or it may take some time if they need to also build skills. That it's the internal job. So I don't do past lives for everybody. Like I don't think that everybody needs it. But some people just go there. Yeah, me too. I just love past lives. I have so many, they all are very interesting. And I believe they made me a better person. They may be kinder and more compassionate because as I live in different bodies, as I make different choices that I would not make, I don't have to make, and I experience events that I would never experience, but I experience them as if it's me experiencing them, and I learn from them. I cannot help but think, hey, once somebody from the future is going to visit my life right now, here and then, what they are going to learn? How they are going to experience it? And it makes me really think. So I am going to take you all through a process. And depending on if you are like hypnosis junkie and you love going into trance and you just, yes, trance me down. Or if you like, I don't like experiencing hypnosis in the library with people around, you don't have to go into a trance. You can just sit there and listen to me. It's also okay. What I'm going to ask you to just pretend. Pretend that you experienced it and make up a story if you need. Just have fun with it. Just pretend that you're a client and you are creating a story. Okay? Yes.
Just to make sure, we're broadcasting live, so can you do a disclaimer for people who are driving and moving around?
Please, if you drive, don't go into a trance now. Please don't, really don't do it. So I hope that people understand, but just like, don't do it. Please, people, don't do it. But I now, from time to time, do it while driving. Okay, what if I take myself in the past life? I kind of divide my consciousness, but you don't do it, please. It takes some training. So before we go, any questions? And we also will have time at hand. So any questions before we go into a trance? Good. There are 4 rules. I always give clients 4 rules. Rule number 1, I trust my journey. And let's also say it. I trust my journey. Let's say it out loud. You can talk, really. Like, I trust my journey. Good. Why it's important? Because this journey is for you. It's not for anybody else. And you enter it with a trusting belief that it will bring you insights and understanding, that it will be for you. You trust your journey. Next, I trust my emotions. Let's all say it. I trust my emotions. Let's say it again. I trust my emotions. It's important because people experience it differently. Some people go through intense feelings, and it's okay if you need to cry, you cry. If you need to laugh, you laugh. If you need to scream, scream. It's okay here. But some people don't feel anything, just neutral, and it's totally okay. You trust that your mind will give you the exact experience that you need. Next, I trust my senses. I trust my senses. Let's say it again. I trust my senses. There are people who see really clearly, who really immerse in it, and I'm so envious of them because I don't see. I see those shadow images. There are people who just feel, or just know, or just tell a story. Could be different. You trust yourself that your mind will give you exact experience that you need. And last rule, I am not to judge, edit, or analyze. I'm not to judge, edit, or analyze. I just report. Let's say, I just report. This is also important because not every past life is spectacular. Some of them are very mundane. I had clients who were like, a rock. I am a rock. I'm sitting on a road. I'm sitting on a road. I am a rock. And that's it. I had clients who were spirits. And it's totally up to them. It's their journey. And lastly, before we go, I always treat my clients' past life as if it's real. Like I personally, I don't know. But the worst you can do is to try to insert yourself into their journey. If you believe it's not real, if you believe they're making it up, and if you have this big ego, oh, I know, so go forward to this place when you died a horrible death. Yeah. So don't do it. So you are on the spirit land. You are guiding them on a sacred soul journey. And whether you believe it or not, it's better to treat it as such. So you all have permission to experience it the way you want. And if you want to just listen, you can just pretend that you are going to a past life. So let's all take a deep breath and let it out slowly. And let's take another nice deep breath to the full capacity of lungs. Hold it for a moment and slowly let it out and just relax. And when you take the next breath, roll your eyes up and look up. Look up, inspiration. And as you exhale, look down, relaxation. And inhale, look up, inspiration. Exhale all the way down, look down, relaxation. And just give yourself permission to enter another life in another body. You can imagine that you are walking through a corridor of time. And your goal today to just experience. We don't have any goal, just see what comes up. Be very curious. Imagine walking through a corridor of time with many portals. And behind every portal is another place, another life. And maybe you can notice that one portal is calling to you, enter, enter. And you just allow yourself to approach this portal. And on a count of 3, you're going to step through the portal. And then you're going to answer to yourself questions without thinking or analyzing. 1, 2, 3, stepping through the portal and be in another place, another time, in another body, if you are a body. First, Notice your feet if you have feet. And trust your senses. If you see, you see. If you feel, you feel. If you listen to a story, you listen to a story or tell yourself a story. If you just know, you just know. How they are wrapped if you have feet. Now notice your body. Are you a human being? Are you a male or female? Are you big or small? Are you old or young or middle-aged? And just allow the answers to come to you naturally. If you need, you can just make it up. Just entertain yourself with a story. Are you inside or are you outside? What time is it? What time of the day? Maybe you know a year or time period. What season it is. Are you alone or are there other people? And what next? Just allow yourself to experience what's next. What happens next? To those of you who are stuck in one place, you just breathe through your experience, you trust your journey. You trust your journey. And you just allow yourself to take time until you move forward. And what's next? Just allow yourself to make up a story or experience a story or let the story unfold, whatever works for you. Be very curious. What's going on? And now you can imagine that you are experiencing the main events. You can see them on a movie screen. You can imagine floating forward in time and noticing the most important events. If you want to go through those important events and experience it, do it. If you want to just observe, you just observe. If you want to just know, you just know. How did you die in this lifetime? How did you die? And again, just allow yourself to receive the answer, whatever comes to you. How did you die? And then go ahead and die. And go to the light. Go to the light. Go to the light. And notice what happens when light comes upon you, this entity. And then return to your current consciousness here and now in 2023 and ask yourself this very important question. what did I learn from this life? What did I learn? And allow the answer to come to you. What did I learn? Now, if there anybody in this life, in the past life, who wronged you in any way, who maybe was insensitive or cruel or ignorant, imagine looking into the eyes, feeling the energy, and then letting them go. I forgive for myself so I be free. I forgive for myself so I be free. And imagine cutting all the cords and sending this entity into the light. And now check your physical body. Is there any place in your body where your physical body, your matter, still holds the energy of this past life? If it benefits you, you can keep it. If it does not, notice it, breathe into it, smile into it, and then send it to the light with every breath. Exhale this energy from your body and send it to the light. And notice how it's different when this energy is fully cleared out of your physical body. Fill the space with light. And then imagine moving forward in your present life with all the lessons, with all the knowledge, with this past business completed and done, fully behind you, free. You're moving forward. And notice what is different in a week. And move forward 2 weeks, what is different. And move forward a year, what is different in a year. Grab this knowledge and come back to here and now. When you are ready, you can take a deep breath. And when you are ready, you can come back and open your eyes and shake your arms. Let it hang, let it drain, let it hang, let it drain. Drain all the energy. And shake your arms above you. And the word is yes. 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 The journey is complete. Now let's give also some time to readjust, to look around. You're having your experience here and now, being alive in this moment. How wonderful it is. This delicate dance of energy and matter that we are experiencing right now. So now I'm opening the floor to you for questions, and if anybody had a good story or just a story or a terrible story, any story that you can share, and please do it.
I might be able to turn this on.
Okay.
Or we can turn the recording off.
Oh yes, we can say sorry. Yes, let's turn the recording off, and then we will be fast us in this space and time. Thank you all.
Recording stopped.
Okay.
So those of you who are joined by Zoom, you're still in on the conversation.
Yeah, you can